What's up guys, welcome to another YouTube video. In this YouTube video I will be speaking about the downhill of testosterone levels, why environmental toxins are nuking your testosterone, and what you can do about it. So how you can increase your testosterone levels naturally without you having to add any supplements, without you having to go to the gym more, without you having to do any like suffering or workout or run more, just increase it naturally with doing natural things, natural methods. So I'll explain the main reason why our testosterone as men are on a crazy downhill right now and what we can do about it. Testosterone isn't declining because men just somehow just randomly got lazy, or we randomly just ended up here with very low testosterone. It's not like a random change, right? It's something that changed, of course, but it's not us men. It's the environment around us that changed, that impacted our health and lowered our testosterone, right? Men today are becoming more and more feminine. Meanwhile, women are becoming more and more masculine. And of course, this is a huge problem because it's completely upside down. And we're going to have lots of health issues as well when our hormones are upside down. You probably heard this as well all the time, that we're becoming more and more feminine as men. And most people think that the solution is to work out more or add a bunch of supplements or, just run, just be tough, drink protein shakes, but that is not the case. So in this video, I will be speaking about what you can actually do about that. And, most people also say like, bro, it's just a part of evolution. Just, we're becoming more advanced. We're becoming smarter than ever. It's just evolution. Just like accept it. But that's not like, if we are declining, we're becoming more infertile, and soon we're not able to actually reproduce. How are we like getting anything positive out of this evolution that we're going through right now? First of all, you might ask me like, yeah, Philip, what is the signs of low testosterone? How do I know if I actually have low testosterone? So first of all, low libido, you feel weak, you feel tired, like low energy levels, you're stressed all the time, maybe you're balding, maybe you have very dry skin, you can feel feminine, right? Maybe you don't have a purpose in life, you don't feel like you're striving for anything. Those are like the main symptoms of you having low testosterone levels. So especially low libido and low energy levels, those are like the two main ones, I would say. And before you ask yourself, how do I raise testosterone levels? How do I raise my testosterone levels so I can become more masculine? I can, become the best version of myself, so I can find the wife that I want, or I can have the energy that I need for thriving in life overall, to become healthy. Because if you have low testosterone levels, you're also probably gonna be very unattractive. And I know that this is also a huge thing in the world right now, because we have this trend going on that's the black pill, if you know what that is. If you don't know what it is, that's basically men focusing on fixing their looks right now. What I can see, it's often like fixing their looks with surgery or artificial ways, you can say. So that's also why people want to actually higher their testosterone levels, because you're naturally going to get more attractive. Before you ask yourself, how do I raise testosterone levels? You need to ask yourself, what is actually lowering your testosterone levels right now? And that is the main thing right now, is environmental toxins. All the things that has been introduced over the last 20, 30, 40 years, right? That's been poisoning us on a daily basis. And most people don't think that it really matters. But when you're exposed to, let me list the main ones, like microplastics, forever chemicals, heavy metals from, pollution. If you're, for example, you're heating your food in a microwave, and your package is made out of plastic, that is leaching plastic into your food. Let's say you're brushing your teeth with fluoride fluoride toothpaste, then that is also chemicals. So there's lots of chemicals around us, like perfumes as well. You know, dish soap. There's so much chemicals around us, and all these things are lowering our testosterone as men because these are endocrine disruptors, which means that they act as estrogen in our body. And when we have estrogen, more estrogen in our body, and our body may be estrogen dominant, then of course we're going to get health issues because as men, the male hormone is testosterone and the female hormone is estrogen. So that's why our hormones right now is completely upside down, because these forever chemicals are mimicking estrogen in our bodies. Same thing goes with processed foods and seed oils and ultra processed foods. Maybe you eat, I don't know, McDonald's, maybe you eat whatever. If you go to the grocery store and you think you're buying something healthy, look at the package, look at the ingredient list. If it's more than 4 or 5, that's a processed food. And they often contain microplastics or heavy metals or some other preservative that will act as estrogen in your body. And you may tell yourself like, nah, it's not really that important because, you know, I just get exposed to a little bit every day. Maybe I do this and that, you know, here and there. But over time, let's say in 5 years, these small amounts that you're exposed to right now will add up over time, and it will cause health issues such as low testosterone levels in men. And sure, the same thing goes for females as well, but in this video I speak about male hormones, and I know that many people can relate to this as well. So the result of these chemicals adding up over time will be, you know, balding, you will be weak, you will be insecure, you won't feel like you have a purpose in life, you won't feel masculine, as I said, you will feel like a woman, you may have excess fat, things like that. So it's very important that you take this seriously and you actually, you know, look at what's happening in the world and asking yourself like, okay, do I want to be a man or do I want to be a female? And when we look at like, okay, how to be masculine, how to have higher testosterone levels in modern society, often what people say or what goes around is like the gym culture, right? It's like, yeah, you just have to push through, you just have to work out more. That's how you become more masculine, and that's how you become, you know, you have higher testosterone. But that is simply not true. And the same thing goes for adding supplements. When supplements is just a synthetic extract made in a lab that's supposed to mimic the things that we have in nature, right? So I had low testosterone levels before. Meanwhile, I had big muscles. I was taking probably 10 supplements a day, and I had still low testosterone levels. I had acne, I was very bloated, excess fat. I felt like a female, even though I had super big muscles and I was on a processed food diet. That doesn't change the accumulated toxins in my body, right? And most people don't get this. Most people think that, as you know, the bigger muscles I have, the more masculine I am, the higher testosterone levels I will have in my body. And this is not true, and I'm a good example of that. My testosterone levels right now is 980 nanograms per deciliter. Of course, this is total testosterone and not free testosterone, but it still indicates that I have high testosterone levels, or at least above average. So bigger muscles doesn't equal higher testosterone levels. And a good example of this is actually the Maasai tribes or the Samburu tribes or whatever tribe that we have today in nature that are eating a natural raw food diet, that are, you know, exposed to sunlight, and they're living in nature basically. It's a good example of people that have high testosterone levels because they are not exposed to heavy metals, they're not exposed to these toxins that we have in our society today, right? If you're living in a city, right, you're exposed to these chemicals. If you're not fully living outside in nature, far away from the city and stuff, you will be exposed to these chemicals. They are not working out, they are not taking supplements, they are not taking pre-workout, they are not doing any physical movement unnecessarily, right? And they have higher testosterone levels than any man in the modern society, right? And they don't have big muscles. Like as I said, big muscles doesn't tell you that you have, high testosterone levels. So they're eating a natural diet, they're outside all the time, they're in nature, they're living aligned with nature. What does this tell you? That you need to live aligned with nature. So Philip, what is actually the solution here? Because I still live in the modern society, and yeah, I'm exposed to these toxins like plastics and the chemicals and perfumes and stuff like that. What is the solution? So the solution here is elimination and detoxification. So the most obvious thing here is to cut out the toxins that you are exposed to on a daily basis right now. That's the first thing. Cut out the source, cut out the poison that you're exposed to right now. How you can raise testosterone is first to cut off what is lowering it, right? So that's the first step. Second of all, be on a natural raw diet. You need to eat animal-based foods so you support your body completely, right? If you're still eating processed foods, you cannot fully detox, you cannot heal at all. Like, you won't benefit from cutting out toxins in your environment if you're still eating the toxins, right? So animal-based diet, ideally raw animal-based diet, like a primal diet with raw meat, raw oysters, raw fish, raw butter, raw cheese, raw milk. All of those things will make sure that you detoxify properly, and it's also the most optimal diet for you to have for sustainable health overall as well. Second of all, as I said, support your body so you can detox naturally. So get sunlight, be outside as much as possible, get movement as well so you support your lymphatic system, low EMF exposure and blue light exposure. That's also an environmental toxin that we have around today. So if you're on your phone, for example, buy blue light blocking glasses, put them on so you get rid of the blue light from your environment. Same thing with EMF. Don't sit on your computer, don't sit on your phone 24/7. Be outside. That is the solution to supporting your body as much as possible. And then a very important thing as well is raw fats, because raw fats will bind to chemicals in your body. So for example, if you're consuming chemicals and then you're eating raw fats, the raw fats will bind to those chemicals and get them out of your body through bile. And the same thing goes for stored toxins as well. They help you to get rid of stored toxins, because the stored toxins can get pulled to the raw fats, and the raw fats remove them. That's exactly why you shouldn't eat unhealthy animals that's been exposed to chemicals in form of, because the chemicals and toxins are stored in fat tissue. So if you buy a fatty cut, like a fatty steak, and you eat it, and it's from a sick animal that's been exposed to chemicals, then you will also get sick, and you will get those chemicals from that steak as well, since what I said, chemicals are stored in fat tissue, right? You can consume raw butter. I would say it's the most effective one. Raw egg yolks, raw cheese is a good one as well. Yeah, so this is very important. And you have natural detox pathways in your body. You can naturally detox, like the liver, like your gut, like your skin, like your lymph system. But these detoxification pathways will be overloaded when you're overexposed to toxins. So you won't be able to detox properly through these detox pathway if you're not actually supporting yourself with the right environment and the right diet. So these detox pathways won't actually be able to effectively get rid of the toxins through these pathways if you're not actually supporting them. And then we have detox protocols, or more effective ways to detox toxins, and that would be sweating out toxins. So either, I'd say the most effective thing here is hot baths, mineralized hot baths. So if you have a hot bath and you fill it up around 40 degrees Celsius, then you put in Celtic sea salt and raw apple cider vinegar and maybe some raw milk as well to neutralize the toxins from the tap water, so you don't reabsorb the toxins right there. You can also do sauna as well, but if you're doing the sauna, you should ideally be taking a towel and wiping off the toxins from your skin, since what you're sweating out is the toxins that I'm speaking about. You want to wipe them off so you don't reabsorb them as well. And to not damage your hair, you should put something on your hair as well in the sauna. Your body is way smarter than you think, so your body can push out these things effectively if you're supporting it. And you don't need to take any supplements, you don't need to fast, you don't need to do like ayahuasca or some crazy like detox thing. But most people think that, when they're getting sick or when they're having a lot of mucus or they're coughing, that's a bad thing, but that's actually the body's way of pushing out the toxins naturally, right? And when most people get a fever, they try to suppress it by taking medication, but that's canceling the detox, right? So don't be afraid when you're following these steps and then you're getting a fever, because when you're getting a fever, your body temperature gets higher and you start to sweat and you get mucus, you start to cough, you maybe get a stuffy nose, and that's only your body's way of doing exactly what it's supposed to do, right? So that's a sign of you actually getting healthier, so don't be afraid of embracing nature. Your body knows exactly what to do as long as you actually support it. And it is necessary for you to go through a detox period where you maybe get sick, or maybe you get fever, you start to cough and stuff like that. It's necessary for you to actually then get healthier and well. So that's the end of this video. That's exactly what you need to do to, get higher testosterone levels. First of all, you need to lower or cut off the things that are lowering your testosterone levels, and then support your body so the body can push out these toxins naturally, so you can higher your testosterone levels and get rid of the endocrine disruptors that are acting like estrogen in your body. So testosterone isn't really something that you need to fight for or need to chase. You don't need to get bigger muscles. Your testosterone levels will return when you return to a more natural way of living, because everyone in nature got high testosterone levels.